Did you see what's going on with FIFA today?
Oh, Chuck Blazer.
Yeah, Chuck Blazer. All right, so Chuck Blazer was on the FIFA Executive Committee. He, back in 2013, in a deposition, I believe it was, he admitted that he and others on the executive committee took bribes in connection with choosing South Africa to host the World Cup in 2010. He also facilitated bribes for the 1998 World Cup. He admitted to all of this in 2013. For some reason, the documents and the transcripts were not released until now. He also admitting to accepting bribes in connection with broadcast and other rights to CONCACAF tournaments in 96, 98, 2000, 2002, and 2003. By the way, he's no longer with FIFA, and he is suffering from colon cancer.
And you remember him for when he played with Grateful Dead.
What? He looks like Jerry Garcia.
They named an ice cream after him.
Cherry Garcia.
Cherry Blazer.
So this is, I'm guessing this is going to be the first of many.
Is that a pat on the back from Blatter?
The first,
think that is? That picture.
Look at that photo. No, there's money in his hand. He's slipping it into a secret pocket in the back of his sport coat.
Well, Blazer's the one who actually, I think, was the whistleblower in the beginning. That he's the guy.
That's what began the investigation?
Yes. That he wants, and you and I have talked about it, there are going to be a lot of other guys roll over to try and prevent from having to go to jail or return the money or anything. And so that's why Blatter finally realizes, stupid and old as he is, that it's going to go all the way to the top as it did with Nixon, if you want to make a comparison, a political comparison. But Chuck's going to probably, as someone with cancer and dealing with it,
and old age,
he's going to probably come out as one of the real good guys on this, that he's the one who kind of turned the tables on FIFA, and it may be that he wants to do right by the world before something deeply bad happens to him in his health.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well, that he wants to get it off his chest before he goes to that great soccer pitch in the sky.
Yeah, you know who else is going to roll over? And we talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
Jack Warner's going to roll over.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
He's already trying about, and for those who don't know, he's one of the indicted 7. I mean, there's 14 that were, 7 were arrested, 14 are indicted.
Yeah, but I got the feeling Jack Warner's not going to do it to absolve himself. Jack Warner's going to do it because he wants to drag everybody down to the abyss with him. He's angry right now.
No, well, I think he wants to not be dragged to the United States. And the question I've had that hasn't been solved and resolved, how are they going to extradite most of these people? Because they're not in jails in Switzerland, some of them. Jack Warner's back home.
So, well, he's from Costa Rica. If we have an extradition treaty with Costa Rica, we can get that done. If their government cooperates, yeah.
So I'm not so sure. I mean, if you're Jack Warner, let's just talk here, you and me, for a second.
Okay.
If you're Jack Warner and you've gotten a lot of money over the years, wouldn't you slip a little bit more money to some officials and say, I'd like to stay and spend the rest of my life in Costa Rica?
Or I would take some of that money and quickly find my way to a country that does not have an extradition treaty with the United States.
Cuba?
Like Cuba. Although
I'm just saying,
that might change soon too.
Again, I'm saying that there are guys who've been arrested from South Africa and other places who I think are going to try and position themselves where they don't have to come here and appear in court.
Let me throw 2 other things at you that have come out in the last 24 hours. The foreign minister of Qatar says there's no way his country will be stripped of the right to host in 2022, and that this is a, quote, bashing campaign fueled by anti-Arab prejudice. And also, Sepp Blatter returned to Zurich yesterday, a day after his resignation, stood in front of his 400 employees, and got a 10-minute standing ovation. How about that? They evidently don't care.
What about that?
They don't care that he smeared their whole organization.
There have been people in history.
I don't get it.
There have been people in history, and we can all think of one that's probably the worst person in history. He got a standing ovation all the time. So,
yeah,
I mean, of course. Jack Warner's getting standing ovations in Costa Rica, and when he's not holding up the onion.
Last thing, is Qatar going to get the 2022 World Cup?
I think it's very difficult at this point to stop that wagon train.
Unless you take it to a country that already has the facilities in place.
Except they are spending.
We're talking
billions.
7 years from now.
They're spending billions of dollars. I think what will keep cut her from getting it if it happened. And thanks for coming around on that.
Instead of
by the
saying
way.
Qatar? Yeah, sure.
You're only about 6 months behind everybody else on that. But I think what will drive it out of there are the human rights violations. Because once again, the immigrants they brought in to be the workers, and they're dying at
Cheap
a
labor.
very alarming rate. So there are estimates that as many as 4,000 workers could die before the Olympic venues are completed.
That's a good
the
reason to
World
take
Cup.
it away from them. Hey, the big stuff brought to you by Grand Prix Motorsports, your source for the original motorcycle. That's Indian Motorcycles. Check out the newest line of Indian motorcycles at Grand Prix Motorsports. They are located at County Line and Santa Fe. And here is the lovely Shannon once again on her Indian motorcycle. She looks great on that thing, doesn't she? Okay,
I think
Indian
she'd look
motorcycles.
good.